Does anyone feel like they are being left behind? I'm 42 and yes, I'm finally at a point where my commute, income and etc. would allow me to do all the things my friends did in their 20s. I literally feel like I just started my 20s. Don't worry about it. Before you know it, you'll be toasting your friends over finalizing their divorces. Life isn't a race. It's whatever you make it out to be. Why is marriage and kids a sign of moving forward? Most of my friends settled and married someone they're not all that into out of fear of loneliness, fear of not being able to do better, societal pressure, etc., which I'm convinced is why most people marry. They all seemed so much happier when they were single. Not to mention how they're tired, empty shells of who they were before having kids and now just tend to kids 24/7. So just because they're married and having kids doesn't mean their life is any more enjoyable than yours is or can be. As I look back, currently 51, the hardest part about getting older? At about 35, some realize that they are the only single one left. Everybody is married, with children. Unmarried 35-years-old women's ticking biological clock turns them hysterical. They tie the knot with the last one to ask. At about 40, unmarried women get an IVF to start a single-parent family of their own. At 45, everybody around you is getting divorced or cheating on their other. The early starters see 20 years of their life blown up in a divorce. You keep starting new projects but easily get bored and cannot get beyond the first excitement. At about 50, you hear about X or Y going down in booze, changing her sexual orientation, leaving her 100K job to start a knitting business, etc. Declining eyesight becomes a daily annoyance. Your mind slows down. Problems you used to solve in 2 minutes take longer. You can hide it behind your experience. But younger people are just faster. You take death as a counselor. What about buying this cabin in the woods? I could fix it and retire there. Nope. Lady Death tells you to spare your energy. When you'll be finished to fixing it, you will not be able to enjoy it. Talking those at 55. You become a philosopher and start to look backward and reflect on your life and on life in general. When young as a child, you are taught to study, to find a good job, to get married, to have children, to invest in a house, to save for retirement, etc. You have witnessed all the variations of this theme. You have seen people following these instructions by the letter and rebels who have preferred to live a life of their own. In the end, both sides are just as unsatisfied. Collecting experiences, partners, marriages, jobs, adventures is just a means to fill a fundamental void, a constant dissatisfaction. Our education is all wrong. We are taught to dream, desire, obtain, dream, desire, obtain, etc. When we were kids, we were conditioned long before Christmas to dream about your next gifts. Once our wishes were granted, how long did we play with our new toys before disregarding them? 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe, and then you started again to dream and desire something else. We have been reproducing this behavior all our life, dreaming about having a nice wife, a great job, a magnificent house, good kids, etc. Never living in the moment, always living in some fantasy world of ours. Collecting wealth, experiences or building empires is futile. Death takes away everything. Being proud of our appearance, physical prowess or intellectual performances is futile. Aging transforms the mightiest warrior into a frail creature, the most beautiful face into a wrinkled apple and the brightest minds into empty resonating shells. When all the unessential is removed, irrelevant of the exterior stimuli, you are. But who am I? If we let our mind wander, we immediately fall back into the trap of the desires and perpetuate the cycle of greed and deceptions. Happiness lies in the control of the mind and desires. The past is gone. The future is not. Only the present is. If your mind is completely focused on your actions in the present, every action becomes perfection and your life becomes meaningful. You hear about X, Y, Z who has passed away, most of the time in a deadly accident or from cancer. Single moms of teenagers contemplate with bitterness 15 years of exhausting solo fights to make ends meet. They look backward and judge harshly their 40s self. If only I had listened to my parents, are the most common words they pronounce. The world is changing fast. You are not. You prefer not to see places of happiness and just want to keep them alive in your mind. Concentration becomes really deep. More and more. While driving I am lost in my thoughts and either miss the exit from the freeway by 20 miles or do not see red lights and stop signs. You are no longer attached to the treasures you have amassed during your life and easily give them away to friends and family to appease their material thirst. Nature and children become more and more an infinite source of happiness. Envisioning life at 60, 70, and beyond. I don't know yet. I feel the best is yet to come. Some may think I have lived a depressed life. I have not. I have lived and worked all around the world, crossed continents and the 7 seas. I have shared life experiences with the poorest of the poorest and the kings. Younger, I was like anybody else, always falling for the prettiest girl. I have worked for companies and have started my own. Some things were successful, others were a failure. I have lived both as a hermit and in community, as a bachelor and a married man. Like everyone, I have had ups and downs, but I have never experienced a depression that needed medical attention. I have obviously written about my vision of life based on my experiences, and I know it resonates with others' life experiences. For a few it is abhorrent. 8 billion people can't be on the same timeline. Stop comparing yourself to others. It's your life and you can live it at whatever pace you want. Get a pet. Feeling left out is common. It depends on what your group is doing at that time. Whether in high school and everyone's going off to college and you're not. Or vice versa. Or getting married and having kids and you're not. Or vice versa. Wanting to relate to those around you is about connection. I'd say your feeling left behind could be more a feeling of being disconnected, and that's where I'd focus your energy. Your choices are just different. It does make it hard to relate when you and someone in your life have made different choices. But that's where being genuinely interested in them and their lives will potentially help you maintain that connection when your lives are different. Some friendships and connections don't last those changes, and I'm sorry for that. But those that have staying power will last through them. You may get to have those experiences of marriage, kids, home ownership, etc. sooner or later. Look at where you are, and if you enjoy the view, you're on the right track. Someone else may enjoy a different view, and no one view is the right one. Stay confident, my friend. I chose career when surrounded by marriage, kids, home buying, etc. I took my time and enjoyed my scenic route to getting to marriage, kids, home ownership. I also have a wonderful foundation to a career with a, hopefully, bright future ahead. Slow and steady. You got this. Envy is a cardinal sin. Make do with what you have if it's enough. I experienced this, and then crushing depression. It turns out it was autistic burnout. I'm autistic, but didn't know for 40 years. Now it makes sense why I failed at basically everything. Life is a journey, enjoy the ride. Left behind? Back Here Live also is amazing. And funny is, when their relationship ends, guess who they'll be calling? You do you. I work hard so I can live life. I don't need a relationship. I have friendships, people to travel with, party with, chill with, can do whatever I want, when I want. Back here is fine by me. You don't need to get engaged to not be behind. But I must admit that I never get why people are so worried about romantic relationships in the first place. Yes, you're not alone. Trying to have a baby. Miscarried my pregnancy this summer. Everyone around me is getting married or pregnant or some other major life event, and I feel like I'm in limbo waiting for my turn. It's hard, especially during the holiday season. I find being married at 20 years old isn't the kind of life for me. Right now I'm pretty content with my progress but would definitely do more. I also feel it too. I think social media definitely has a big part on why we feel this way. People post their achievements all the time online, which ends up with us comparing ourselves to them way too often. I personally am having a hard time with depression. Getting out every day is difficult, and just doing the bare minimum takes all my energy away. And I could tell you that going to social media will make it worse for me. But yes, it's normal, and I hope we can find a way to deal with it. Everyone goes through life at their own pace. It's never too late to live how you want.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.